सर मझिर जो गैपटा अछि काले एकर सेकर हेइ जोली सर सेतै कहत
ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ତା ଭିତରେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ସେସନ ଅଛି କ୍ଲାस ଅଛି ସେଟା ସରିଲା ପରେ ଏଟା ଏ ତ ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ସେସନ ନୁହେଁ ନା ଏମିତି ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ସେସନ ରହୁଛି ସେଟା ସରିଲା ପରେ ଏଟା
सर रिजल्ट केबे आसीबो
result hopefully a month end sudha you will get by the end of this month you will get
थैंक यू सर
ଆଉ କିଛି doubt
Sujeet sir अपनी हेला था
नो सर यू मे कंटिन्यू
ହୁଁ
नहीं सर ଆଉ କିଛି नहीं सर
ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ସବୁ ପେପର ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ ହେଇଗଲାଣି
तुम म्यूट करना दे रे दो दिन हाँ सारों को लगे चूल अनुप को मनो ही होगी ना अनुप ही होगी हाँ
Oh, we'll start right now. I request all of you to mute so that it will not create any disturbances. When if I'm asking something, if I'm asking a question, just unmute yourself and you answer the question. Then again, you mute yourself. Okay. So, we discussed what business policy, what is the meaning of business policy, what is the meaning of strategic management, the nature characteristics of strategic management. Then we discussed what is strategies, how it different from policies, the levels of strategy, types of strategy, role of strategic manager. Okay, so these are the things which we have discussed. In unit 2, we started discussing about vision, mission. What do you mean by vision? What is the meaning of vision? What is SWOT analysis? And what are the parameters which are included in SWOT analysis? What are the challenges are there? And what are the outcome? If we are going with such step, then what outcome we will get? What are the, in which way that will facilitate in taking of decisions? Okay, so certain analysis, SWOT analysis will facilitate both in long term as well as in short term decisions. Suppose you are taking any kind of strategies, any short-term decisions, then the outcome of SWOT analysis will certainly contribute towards the accuracy of the result. So the accuracy of the decision making. What decisions you are taking, the accuracy of decisions always based on your effective SWOT analysis. Now, we will discuss those concepts once again in a different way, in a different chapter. Today, we will discuss what is environmental analysis. It's not a new concept for you. You must have discussed this in different chapters, and you will also discuss this environmental analysis in third semester as well as in fourth semester. So what environmental analysis is, why it is required, and what are the components of environment which are to be analyzed, okay, so that we can take strategic decisions. The ultimate objective of analyzing the environment is that we need to take strategic decisions. Now, what are the different components which are included in environmental analysis, and what are the models of environmental analysis? So these are the questions which you will get. Just write down the questions, define, discuss the importance of environmental analysis, in the business policy, in the formulation of business policy and strategic management. Okay, why it is important and how it is important. Okay, that you need to write down. Then what are the different components of environment? Another question you may get, what are the different components of environment which are to be analyzed? Okay. The next question, different models. What are the different models used in environmental analysis? The different models used in environmental analysis. Discuss the steps, the models, then discuss the steps to conduct the environmental analysis. What are the different steps should be taken by the manager or by the strategic manager to analyze the environment? What steps are there in the process? Okay, so this is another question, or so we can say you may get a short type question as well as a long type question, okay, or a bit question you may get. So these are the 3 or 4 questions which we will discuss today. Now, what environment is actually? Environment is otherwise known as the surrounding or the periphery. If you can write, just write it. Environment is the surrounding within which the business house functions. The environment is the surrounding within which the business house functions and adopts different practices to fulfill the need and desire of the internal as well as external stakeholders. So internal as well as external stakeholders. Now, environment is the surrounding within which the business house functions. So there are different kind of, now in which way those environment helps or puts challenges. Now see, the organization always remains within the society. The society is one kind of environment, and this society, in fact, with the help of the society, the organization sustains, the organization continues its operation, and the organization basically delivers its finished product to the society. Whatever raw material is taken, it is taken from the society, from the external environment, and the raw materials are converted into finished good, and once again those finished products or finished goods are sent back to the environment. That is what is your society. Now here in business environment there are 2 broad components are there, 2 broad. One is your external environment and another one is your internal environment. Now the organization, and you know what internal, what external are there, but still when you are getting a long type question, you need to elaborate it in a different way so that at least that will attract the examiner to give you marks. And again, you need to know the basic parameters, components which are included in internal and which are included in external environment. Now, these are the two components are there, broad components. One is external, one is internal. Now, see, in these two, we can control or we can implement change, and we can work more on this internal environment than the external environment. It is very difficult to change the external environment. External environment may change, but it is difficult and it is a continuous process. It is a continuous process. What we can do, the organization can adjust its operation, its practices, its policies, its way of doing things as per the requirement of the external environment. Now, external environments are to be studied, but the changes mostly are implemented or adopted in the internal environment. So that's why here it is prominent to understand what are the internal environments components are there. It is very difficult to change the external environment, but we need to adjust. We need to face those challenges, and we need to take the step in a different manner so that we can go beyond that. Suppose, for example, I mean, the organization's immunity system. The organization's immunity system depends on the external or internal. It is always depends on the internal system. If your internal system is strong, then you can sustain, then you can continue, then you can continue for a longer days. But if your organization's immunity system is weak, then it is very difficult to sustain. The organization will become sick. Just remember the COVID period. What happened? External environment was something else. Now we studied the external environment practices, but whatever changes were there, we only implemented in it within the organization, within our family, and we adopted all changes on us only. We used masks, we sanitized ourselves, we had not gone anywhere, we remained at our home. Okay, these are the internal aspects which you have adopted, and in the long run, that adopted the external practice. Slowly, that virus went away, and again it is coming back. Now, what is that? We need to work on this internal environment. Now, external we will discuss, but more we will concentrate on the internal environment. Now, what are the internal environments are there? Internal always within the control. It is not remain inside the factory gate. It is always within the control of the organization. When it is within the control of the organization, this is what is your internal environment. When it is not controlled by the organization, it is not controlled by the organization, and organizations again faces challenges from there. That is your external environment. In these two ways, these external or internal environments are differentiated. Now, can anyone tell me what are the internal environments are there? What I will write in internal environment, what it includes? Basically, when we will discuss about the internal environment, maximum things we will think of the non-human aspects. Human aspects are there, but mostly the non-human aspects are considered maximum. We need to change, implement change, and human aspects record side by side. When we will implement changes in the non-human aspects, the human aspects will change it. Only the behavioral aspects will be changed by the individuals. Now, what it includes? What are the internal environments which are required to be discussed? One is what it includes? It includes the economic condition, the economic conditions of the organization. Okay, the economic condition of the organization, overall economic condition, how financially the organization is strengthful. Then once we are thinking of the economic condition, then we need to think of the net worth, net profit, net wealth. So we need to think of the net asset, net capital. These are the things that again come. When we are thinking of the economic condition, then the other parameters which are linked with it is your net worth, net profit, net capital, net asset. So these are the things that to be discussed. So net worth of the company we need to find out. Right? So net worth you need to find out, which leads to net wealth, net profit, net asset, net capital. So these are the things are to be identified. This also includes in the internal environment. Now, what it includes? What are the parameters that to be analyzed? We need to analyze the economic conditions, the net worth, economic condition, overall economic conditions. The net worth we need to find out what a scale body whether it is fluctuating, whether it is increasing or decreasing trend rates, or the trend analysis is to be done. Then once it is done, then we need to revive or we need to do research on the vision and mission. So vision and mission plays a prominent role in organizational growth. That gives dimensions, that gives strength to the company, that find out the way to do the thing. So basically, vision and mission statements are the long-term and the short-term objective that defines the long-term as well as short-term objectives of the company. So where you want to see yourself after 5 years, for that what you are doing right now, what you are doing, that is what is your mission, and where you want to see yourself after 5 years is your vision. You are visualizing the future in advance. Okay, so that we need to find out, that you need to analyze, and you need to compare with the vision mission statement with the approach, how you are moving, whether you are railed or derailed. So whether you are going beyond that or we are going with the vision and missions. So that is to be discussed, that is to be analyzed. So once vision and mission statements are identified, then organization's innovation system, that also to be analyzed. So innovation leads to what? Innovation leads to growth, expansion, and diversification. So if organization adopts the practices that leads to modernization, that leads to expansion, that leads to development, that leads to growth, that leads to, we can say, we will move from past to a new trend that defines a new trend. So what is that? If innovation system is not there in the product line, then organization will never grow. Organization cannot fulfill the need and desire of its stakeholders. So we need to think of how the innovation system works. So it is also one component of the internal environment. Then next is your organization's risk management system. Organization does the risk management, so it eliminates the limitations. It eliminates the uncertainties. How the organization is taking risk and how the human resources are managing the risk. So that is also another component which includes in the internal environment. Only the economic aspects, political aspects, technological aspects, these are the environment. No, it is never like that. Different components which includes in the internal environment system, which gives strength and strengthens the immunity system of the organization. So what is that? The risk management system of the organization also an internal environment parameter. Next is another component is identified as the operating strategy. Operating strategy, how the organization is operated with the different kind of strategies at different kind of state or condition, how the company is adopting its strategy, whether the company is taking steps instantly, quickly, or given autonomy, freedom to the employees, okay, to take the decisions. These are all we can say policy related issues. Now, if those operating strategy is well equipped, then organization can become more stronger. If it is not well equipped, then organization will face difficulties at the time of taking steps in an urgent manner. Now, next, once the operating strategy is discussed, then we will go with organizations' negotiations and collaborations. How the organization is giving importance to the negotiation practices. These all includes negotiations and the collaboration system. This leads to the relationship parameter, how the organization is negotiating or working with the people. Okay, that how the organization is depending on a collaborative work or a group work. If those things are there, then that will also give strength to the people to work. It enhances the support system. Human resource support system will be enhanced. Once that is also another one in internal environment mechanism. Then next is your machines and materials. The different machines, equipment, that to be analyzed whether, see, here we identified innovation system with which we can become a moderner company or modernization will be there. But with that, the machine and raw materials are also to be modernized. So we need to work on both, on all the parameters. Now, how the machine is utilized, whether these are updated or outdated machines or raw materials. Then next is the encouraged and motivated workforce. The encouraged and motivated workforce, whether the employees are motivated, or we can say they are enthusiastic to learn, or we can say they are satisfied workforce or not, we need to think of that. If the employees are motivated workforce, then it is very easy to work with them. It reduces the supervision, it reduces the uncertainties, it reduces the wastage also. Okay, wastage of time and raw material all will reduce when we are working with motivated workforce. Then another is your networking and information system. The networking and information system, how it works, that also identifies, that also we need to analyze the networking system and information system, whether it is very clear, whether it is open, whether it is restricted, that needs to be analyzed. At what point of time we need to give clear cut informations, at what point of time we need to restrict it, that is the important parameter in the organization, with which the organization basically assigns the task target. So what is the point? It says how the task and targets are identified. So whether it is skill based or we can say experience based, so that is another component which are to be analyzed. So see, internal and external, I am telling both are required, both the components are required to be discussed, but internal become more prominent. The reason is that we need to work on it. We need to think of the economic development. We need to think of to enhance the net worth, net profit, net capital, so that we can strengthen our economic conditions. Next is the vision and mission. Okay, update must be there. I was going through the vision statement of SBI. I feel the vision of SBI is outdated because I was discussing in a class. Someone told that the vision statement of SBI depicts that paperless banking. Now it is there. Paperless banking is there. Only thing is that to aware its user or aware its customer to use that paperless. So, but if you will go with the vision statement of NALCO and vision statement of Infosys, it is something else. So, global leader, they wanted to become global leader, but paperless banking is limited. It has a limit. Okay, now they must have set that vision years back. But when you will see the vision statement of Infosys or NALCO, then you will think something, you will feel something else is there. So they have mentioned global leader, so we will become a global leader. Now it has no limit. You need to work on it. So you need to design your mission statement. In that case, in the case of NALCO and Infosys, the vision are not required to be changed, but the mission is to be changed. Every 4 or 5 years or 2 years, 2 to 3 years, we need to change the mission statement. We need to work on it. Now, the missions are also the internal component. Then how the company is adopting the innovative practices. whether it is given, the freedom is given to the employees. Innovation comes out of involving, interest creating. Okay, so these are the components which creates innovation system. Whether the company is promoting such thing or not. With that, company is also introducing the machines and materials. Innovation also collaborated with machines and materials. Then how the company is adopting the risk management system. Whether the company has the policy to take risk under certainty, risk under uncertainty, risk under the condition of risk. There are three conditions are there. Whether the company is adopting the risk under certainty or uncertainty or risk, that is to be analyzed. Okay, so up to what extent more risk we usually speak, but if another person is telling, no, you cannot take risk. If you are not taking risk, then you cannot go ahead. I mean, more risk, more return. But I object to that. You need to think of more calculative risk. Risks are to be calculated. If you are not calculating the risk, then chances of failure will become more. Are you getting a point? The chances of failure will become more when you are not calculating the risk. Okay, what are the permutation combination outcome is there? So what are the, you need to go with designing the decision tree. So different alternative. तमे POT CPM रे जेमति पढिथिबा program evaluation review technique and critical path method, we design it. Now which way we will go? Yes, no. Okay, then if yes, then what are the outcomes are there? What are the way are there to reach on the destination? So you need to design it. That is what is your calculations. We need to analyze the risk. We need to take the correct steps so that the chances of success will become more. So that is another internal parameters. Then the operating strategy that leads to taking of decisions, whether we are taking right kind of decisions at the right time, at the right place, with the right people, that is to be defined and that is to be adopted. Now, how the company is negotiating with its employees, with its stakeholders, and how the company is promoting the collaborative work. We know if collaboration is there, company will certainly strengthen its practices and certainly the sustenance, development, growth is there. So these two are also to be analyzed in negotiation and collaboration. The next, machines and materials we have discussed, and the most important is that the encouraged and motivated employees or workforce, whether my workforce is motivated or satisfied or encouraged. We need to think on that. So if they are not motivated, if they are not satisfied, then we need to take steps for that. Because the key component is the human resource. Ultimately, they control the entire system of the organization. So we need to make them motivated so that they will perform well and they will give the best to the company. And finally, the networking and information system, how the information, communication and networking system is there, whether it is free, open or rigid or restricted. Okay, that is to be, how quickly that reaches, so that what will happen, the organization will sustain its effectiveness. Then next is the task and target. So what is the task and target, how it is designed and how it is distributed. So these are the internal environment which are to be discussed and which are to be analyzed. Pilamane bujhila na nahi? Kichi doubt rahuche? Are acha na nahi?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Bujhila?
Yes, sir.
Kon bujhila? Mane rahibo?
Yes, sir.
Environment. Shortcut environment mane rakhidewa.
Mane rakhideba? So these are the internal. तुमे जो बही पढ़ा देखिबा more or less same point ta hi achi, बही रे similar point achi, ebong it is quite easy to define it, and you need to elaborate the points. Once the internal environments are discussed, then the external environments, we know what it includes. The external environments, external environment includes the step in what we have discussed. মনে পড়ছে ফার্স্ট সেমিস্টার গোটে স্টেপ ইন পড়িছিলে কি তোমার পড়িছিলা ম্যানেজমেন্ট মু পড়িছিলি ফার্স্ট সেমিস্টারে এমসিপি কে পড়িছিলা মু বোধে পড়িছিলি
ସୁଲୋଚନା ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ପଢେଇଥିଲେ
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ସୁଲୋଚନା ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ପଢେଇଥିଲେ
আচ্ছা হও ওকে সো সেটি কোন হচ্ছে না আমি গোটে গোটে ফোর্সেস হুইচ ইনফ্লুয়েন্স দি অর্গানাইজেশন forces which influence the organization, that is what is your step in what it includes social, technological, economical, political, institutional and natural. मु एटा को एते डिस्कशन करूनी कारण मु आगु जो मॉडल पढेबी आजी से मॉडल रे these are also included. So step in, these are the external parameters, the social conditions, the technological conditions which remains outside the factory gate, the economic conditions of the nation, of the state, that leads to your per capita income, national income, the taxation policies, all those things. Then the political, it all leads to the leadership, the rules, regulations. Then your institutional, it is about the competitor strategy. It is about the competitor strategy. And finally, natural calamities. Okay, we need to understand the natural calamities and accordingly we will work on that. Okay, mu jati gote paradip re gote business house karuchi, then I need to think of the cyclone, because I always, there is a chance of there is always a chance to face cyclone or such kind of thing if you are setting up a business at Paradip, if you are setting a business at Andaman Nicobar, if you are setting some business in the coastal areas. So these are all your natural calamities and accordingly you need to run the business. These are included in your external. So I am not discussing all those. I will discuss when I will discuss the model. Now, what are the positive side of analyzing the environment? What will happen if we are analyzing the environment, external and internal environment? What are the positive side? What are the benefits and what are the strategic benefits? What are the strategic benefits? Just write down. It defines the dynamics of the market. So it defines the dynamism of the market. If we are analyzing the environment, then that will define the dynamism of the market. Okay, then it facilitates in serving better to the stakeholders. This external and internal environment helps or facilitate to serve better to its stakeholder. We can do best. Okay, it serves better to its stakeholder. It reduces cost. It also reduces cost. Wastage of time also reduces. Cost reduces. It reduces cost, wastage of time. And the resources are used effectively. All the resources are used. It reduces cost. It reduces cost. And the resources are utilized effectively. There are many advantages are there. You can write it because I don't want to waste time, because the whatever points we have discussed, you just add the positive word in those points and you can elaborate. Okay. So now the popular models. What a question as if what are the models? Okay. Used in environmental analysis. What are the popular models? One is, there are charita model discussion karibi. One model is your pestle model. Second is SWOT. Third is Porter's model. And fourth one is McKinsey's. K McKinsey's 7S model. এই চারিটা মডেল মানে কি বহুত ইজি, কিছু আগে নাই মানে চিন্তা করিয়া দরকার নেই এটা কেমতি আমি পরীক্ষারে লিখিব। পেস্টেল, SWOT, Porter's model and McKinsey's 7S model. Okay. Now pestle model I have already discussed. This pestle stands for political. আমি just step in discussion করছিলে economical, social, political, economical, social, technological, legal and environmental. Now what political includes? Political includes your government regulations. It includes government regulations, trade laws and political stability. What it includes? It includes government regulations, trade laws and political stability, right? Then economic, it includes the exchange rates, your national income, per capita income, wage rate, taxation policies, inflation and interest rate. Just the side of bracket likhi do. If you remember this, and then you can elaborate it. So political and economical. Then social includes what? It includes cultural and demographics, cultural aspects, demographic aspects. Demographic includes what? Male-female ratio. Okay, then we can say the age-wise, education-wise. So these are the things that to be discussed so that accordingly we will produce the product. Okay, then one is their behavior and lifestyle, behavioral aspects, consumer behavior, and the lifestyle of the people of that particular society. Then technological includes R&D, research and development, innovation, automation, and automations. Okay, then legal includes the rules, regulations, employment laws, employment law, safety regulations, employment law, safety regulations, and Consumer Protection Act, Environment and Consumer Protection Acts. Environment and Consumer Protection Act. Then environment includes your climate change, disasters management system, waste management, disasters management system, and waste management. Many more are there. This is all about your pestle, the first. Then second, SWOT analysis we have already discussed. It is all about your strength, weakness, opportunity and threat. What strength and what weakness, that we have discussed. Basically we can say the strength and weaknesses are internal, opportunity threatening are external, and it is not the component to be analyzed. Opportunity threatening are not the component to be analyzed. Rather what we do, we analyze the strength and weaknesses of the opponent or the competitor, so that we convert the strength of my competitor by comparing with my strength and weakness as the opportunity and threat. Right? So that is how the opportunity and threatening are the result portion, are the outcome of this analysis. So we need to also identify it as model. So models of environment analysis, one is pestle model, one is SWOT analysis. You may get a long question on this. You may get a short type question on this. You may get a short type question on Porter's model and McKenzie's model. You may get a long question on this. Okay, then Porter's model. Porter's 5 force model. It is identified as Porter's 5 force model. So that 5 steps defines. So Porter had conducted and research on the market survey, as well as he had compared with the internal and external environment. And he had suggested there must be a systematic step to analyze the internal and as well as external environment by adopting a systematic practices. And his contribution, this model is mostly related with the marketing strategies. Okay, it is mostly related with the marketing strategies. Now, what are those? The first is the threat of new entrants. He suggested that you need to find out the threats of new entrants. New entrants. Market to nuwa. Okay, because existing, we have already worked with them and we know they are adopting practices. Right. The first is that threat of new entrants, how easily new competitors can enter into the market. So that you see, competitor kote aspect it has positive side as well as negative side. If it is it will become negative if you are not taking any advanced step. You will sit quietly in your chair and you will not adopt any changes, then it is negative. But if you are working with them, then what will happen? Competition also leads to innovation. Competition also leads to growth and development. There was a point, you see, a shop was there. A shop was there in the Baniware traffic post. I forgot the name is Wills, I hope, and that exclusive showroom on Wills shirt and trousers was there. Then what happened? I went and I purchased also, but suddenly I saw they are closing the shop. Then asked why you are closing. So, sir, here the sales volume is very less. Why it is less? Because you are the only one. No, sir. Sir, amara jetiki sale hochi gote market re gote choto dokan market building re achi jo choto dokan korchenti tanko sale adhika amatu, because there are multiple options are there. The customers are becoming so choosy. If one shop they are looking, then they are not coming. So competition leads to growth. Right now, then monopoly is not working here. Monopoly will work nowadays to a particular unit. Beyond that, monopoly will not work. Okay, it will not work in a maximum organization needs competition. Some few organizations basically work with monopoly. Otherwise, it will not work. So competition, you need to think of the new entrants, how they are putting threats in front of the existing unit. That is to be analyzed. Then bargaining power of the supplier. Bargaining power of the supplier. The bargaining power. So that influences the suppliers have whether they are putting overprice Okay, so that you need to bargain, and with that you can also manage the pricing strategies. You can go with the pricing strategy. Porter's five-step model is only based on the marketing aspects. Marketing functional को देखिए मुझे कहली कि तुमको आरंभ में कही थी, but it will work if you are analyzing it, and you can marketing is also a prominent area with which we can grow and excel. Then next is the bargaining power of the buyer. You are here, you are supplying, the supplier is supplying, and you are buying. So the bargaining power of both you need to analyze. The bargaining power of the supplier, because you are getting raw materials from the outside, you are processing it, and you are getting the finished product, and you are selling it to the market. Whether the power is there, I mean to say whether the customer has the power to purchase it or not. So that is another bargaining power of the buyer as well as bargaining power of the supplier. Then next, threat of substitutes. Okay, this is all about your alternate product services, whether it is there or not. Then next is your industry rivalry. Or competition. We had suggested these are the 5 steps which have to be analyzed, but my point is that we are discussing Porter's 5-step model, but this model will only work on the marketing area. We cannot put it in HR, we cannot put it in finance. He has suggested these 5-step model, but all the points related to marketing, new entrants have to be analyzed. Who are they? Then bargaining power of the supplier, bargaining power of the buyer, threats of substitutes, and industry rivalries is there or not, which leads to competition and your challenges. Okay. Then last is your McKinsey 7S model. McKinsey 7S model. He had identified from his research, he had identified 7 broad S must be analyzed so that the organizational internal and external environment can be controlled. And all those 7 S maximally related with the internal components. Maximum it related to the internal components. So what are those 7 S? One is, okay, मते जदि पचारिबो मु से 7S टा डिस्कशन करिवि, बट साइड बाय साइड मु भाबिबि कि आउ किछि एस जोडा कि रहि गला, एंड विदाउट दोस 4 मु किछि 4टा एस अदर ऐड करिवि. विदाउट दोस 4 एस दिस 7S will not work. If you are not analyzing these 4 A's, then this 7S will not work. Mu seta feel kore. So I will discuss the 7S, okay, defined or designed by McKinsey, and then I will also discuss what are the other S which I wanted to add it here. 1S, 2S, whatever it may be. So he had suggested 1S is your strategy. It is to be analyzed frequently. How the organization is adopting strategy, and the organization is adopting long-term plan or short-term strategy. Those are the things that have to be analyzed, and how these long-term and short-term strategies are putting challenges, or with that the organization is getting benefit. Organization is being benefited. So that is to be find out whether the strategy what the organization is adopting is successful or it is unsuccessful. Okay, by default we always say that strategy means you are succeeding. If you are not achieving if you are not succeeding, then we cannot call this step as the strategy of a company. Then next is another S is your structure. Structure. Now, structure basically leads to the organizational chart, reporting relationship, and reporting relationships and distribution of responsibility and accountability. The structure, what it defines the positions, it defines the positions, that means organizational chart. Okay, the reporting relationship, responsibilities, fixing accountability. So these are the things which are included in structure. Then once structure is there, then we need to think of system. System. So what are the 7 A's which is stated by McKinsey? These include strategy, structure, system. System, it includes the the procedure of workflows, workflow procedure, and the technology used to carry out the daily operations. The technology which are used, or the methodology which are used to carry out the daily work. Okay, daily work. So what are the S included in this? One is strategy, one is structure, one is system. Then next is your skill. The next is skill components. Then skill includes the capabilities, expertise. It includes the capability, potential, expertise, knowledge, talent, experience, all those. So whether someone is skillful, that full, if you will, the use of time and resources, that is also skill. Use of mechanism, that is also skill. Potential, ability, and many more things. Then next is your style. Style. Now style includes what? The leadership approach. Okay, the leadership approach, the commanding, the way in which you are commanding, how you are dealing with people, how you are working with people, how you are communicating with people, how you are taking the decisions. This is all about your style, the way you do the thing, the way you motivate, the way you set the organization's practices. Okay, so what it includes? The way you deal with people, the way you communicate with the people, the way you take the decisions, use the resources, the way you command, the way you minimize the conflict or resolve the conflicts. That is all about your style. Someone is resolving conflict by using power. Someone is dominating the people and putting them into work. Someone is, another style of working with the people is that someone is encouraging the people to put them to work. So the style also defines, you need to analyze that. Okay, and finally the staff, it all about the staff. It is all about the workforce, including their role, developments. Okay, it includes their role, development, and talent. Now these 6 A's. In this 6 A's, one is which is in this central point. That is your shared value system. So that is your shared values. It is the central, it is in the central point. That includes your core belief, the moral, the ethics. What it includes? It is the core value system. It is the belief. It all depends on your culture. It all depends on your ethical aspects. How genuine you are. How committed you are. Okay, that commitment deals with your ethical issues. That commitment deals with your moral system. That commitment deals with your value system. So that is all about the, so we need to analyze this. Basically 7S McKinsey's model is more or less, it is not market oriented, rather it is more HR oriented. We need to work with the people, so that this is the Kinsey's model is mainly gives maximum importance to the human factor. But Porter's model, it gives maximum importance to the marketing. Okay, now okay, these are prominent S, I accept, but another 3 or 4 or 2 S are also required. So one is the self-management. The other is your support. If support is not there from the management, this will not work. Then next is your security and safety system. Next is your sustainable and growing approach. Sustainability or continuity. Sustainability or continuity. So these are the basic parameters. Forget about the S which I had added, but you need to work on these. What are those? The 7 S. These include stability, strategy, structure, system, skill, and styles. ପିଲାମାନେ सरला
Thank you, sir.
बुझुछ ना नहीं?
Yes, sir.
आज कौन डिस्कशन कले? What we have discussed today, we discussed the environmental influences. What are the different components of environment? Okay, how to deal with it? What are the advantages of analyzing the environment? Okay, then the models of environmental analysis, the objective purpose of analyzing the environment. Over. Sorry, what? Jipa
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, students.
Good evening,
Good
madam.
evening, madam.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. I will set this slide, dear students. Hello, let's start. Is it visible to you, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Wait a moment. Fine. Let's start. See, today we will discuss pollutions and its different types. First, we will discuss what do you mean by pollutions and what are the different types of pollutions, right? So first, what do you mean by pollutions? देखा जाउची ना क्लियरली पिला माने ना कटुची रे कुआडू किछि
ठीक अछि, madam. Totally.
ठीक अछि ओके चल now what do you mean by pollutions? See, pollutions means it is the introduction of harmful substances into the natural environment, causing adverse effects of ecosystem, human health, plants, animals, and many things. So ultimately, dear students, pollutions means It is the harmful materials into the environment. These harmful materials called pollutions. Now, what are the harmful materials? So, variety kind of harmful materials, it relates to environment, and due to these, it relates to variety kind of pollutions are there. Ultimately, it affected by everyone through these pollutions. And these pollutions having classified into different types. Now, what are the different types of pollution? It classifies around, these are the what? It classified into various categories, right? It relates to air pollutions, water pollution, sound, land pollution, light pollution, noise pollution, and industrial pollution. It means there are 6 types of pollution are there that we will discuss one by one. So what are the different types of pollution? These are the different types of pollution. It classified into 6 categories. So today, first,
लेफ्ट साइड मैडम कटि जाउछि
कटी जाउछि ना
लेफ्ट साइड हां हां हां
एना ठीक है ना
हां हां
ओके चलंत तो कौन होची सो देयर आर 6 टाइप ऑफ pollutions including industrial pollution, and we will discuss one by one, and we will start from the air pollution. ठीक है? Now what do you mean by air pollution? Air pollution means it is the contamination of the some indoor or outdoor environment by any chemical, physical or biological agent that modify the natural characteristics of the atmosphere. What do you mean by this? Due to some indoor activity, due to some outdoor activity, right? Something it's emitted towards the environment that leads to air pollution. So ultimately we can say it is some kind of contaminant in the air, right? That air we breathe as a human being, and due to it release harmful gases, it release harmful dust, it release toxic smokes, right? And that air we breathe as a human being, ultimately we affected and we affect various kind of disease. जो कि हमें बहुत परिमाणर disease रे affect होचे. Not only that difficulties and problems faced by the human beings, but also the problem, also difficulties faced by the who? Now that is the basically we can say the plants, animals, everyone drastically. So these pollutions, now what are these pollution? जो pollution नाम create होची through such kind of human activity, some kind of natural means human activity, and some kind of natural destruction, natural disaster also, it leads to air pollution. So what are the things, what are the harmful and toxic gases are emitted through different man activity, human activity and natural disaster? It is there in the air, and we all the natural environment and peoples are affected by this. So you can see this slide here, no? These are the different harmful and toxic gases are there, right? That is the carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, methane, CFC, chlorofluorocarbon, right? Apart from these are also the different kind of harmful and toxic gases, toxic smokes, toxic dust are there in the environment due to the entire environment polluted like anything, right? And what are the causes? Generally, already I told you, many indoor and outdoor activity by the people. Through this, it leads to it emitted variety kind of harmful toxic gases. That's why environment pollution is there. So ultimately, what are the indoor, outdoor, and what are the causes? See, here, the causes of the reasons of pollutions, air pollution specifically, it is the activity of the industrial activity. So we can say, no, the activity of the different industry or industrial activity. Factories, different plant, different industries, factories activity, plants activity, variety kind of factories are there. So due to the emitted many harmful things and toxic towards the air, and that's why air pollution is there. Excess use of automobiles, also we can say transportation, automobile transportation, it relates to public transportation, it relates to personal or private transportation also, it relates to car, bus, trucks, many things are there. And personal vehicle, personal vehicle also. So here, due to excess use of automobiles related to domestic, means personal automobiles, as well as the public transportation also, it emitted carbon dioxide towards the environment due to the burning of the fossil fuels. कौन जलुची पेट्रोल, डीजेल, केरोसिन, ये जो सब परिमाण रे जलिला, burning of fossil fuels. So ultimately it emitted carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide, how much it is harm towards the human health, we know that clearly. आमे भल्ला भाबरे जानिचे कितने परिमाण रे से poison, कितने परिमाण रे से माने हमको को disease create करिवो human being को, that we know very well. Right. So this is the related to, we can say, excessive use of automobiles, excessive use of domestic fuels also. Also, variety kind of means also lead to dust. Dust also leads to air pollution. Dust, why? Due to insufficient rain. Jodi borsa helani, insufficient rain in the rainy season or summer season, no? So चारियाडे कौन हबो, dust environment है वो चारियाडे खाली धूली उड़िबो. So सेटा कौन हबो, ultimately it pollute the air को पूरा polluted करिबो. Pollution from construction. So जितने सब हमारे the construction industries are there, ultimately doing variety kind of activity, constructing building, constructing bridge, constructing variety kind of dam, constructing many things, no? And due to that reason also environment pollution is there. Apart from the mining activity, सेटा तो सबुडु माने अत्यधिक परिमाण रे air को polluted करची, emitted a variety kind of toxic and harmful gases it is there in the environment, right? Apart from this, dear students, the most important thing, ame jani thiba bahut jinsa, but bahut jan jani bhi na thiba, those sprays we are using in our day-to-day life. Say perfume jo ame spray sab use karuche, right? Variety kind of spray, room freshener, seta gote prakar spray. No, perfume, we are using perfume. We are using mosquito spray, no, cockroach spray, perfume. We are using every day. Sakhalu hegala mane agarbatti, evening agarbatti use korche. So that agarbatti, different kind of spray, also it create variety kind of poisoning gas and smokes towards the environment. Bahu parimanare. जोटा हमें यूज करूचे से हमें तो जानी छे मस्किटो को जदी ये करची डिस्ट्रॉय करची ताहले सेटा ह्यूमन हेल्थ पे अल्टीमेटली हमें जो रूम फ्रेशनर भी यूज करचे परफ्यूम भी यूज करचे से स्प्रे ये मध्य सेहितरे मध्य बहुत सारा पॉइजनस थिंग्स अछि राइट सो सेटा मध्य एनवायरनमेंट को पोल्यूटेड करची एंड एमिशंस ऑफ फ्रॉम एसी एंड रेफ्रिजरेटर्स जोटा की पूरा कूलिंग फैसिलिटी हमको दोची पूरा कूलिंग फैसिलिटी इन द हॉट समर लाइक हमें फील करछे ना बापा माने ठंडा रे बसी की माने रियली मनुष्य गुटे माने सर्वाइव करि परला सो सेटा एनवायरनमेंट को इते जा पोल्यूटेड करूची रेफ्रिजरेटर एंड एसी सेत्रु कोन क्रिएट होची जानिचो सेत्रु होची सीएफसी एट जोटा हमें पढिले सीएफसी क्लोरोफ्लोरोकार्बन बहु परिमाण रे जोटा की माने इट जनरली इट क्रिएट chlorofluorocarbon, it is so harmful towards the entire environment. It leads to everyone. It leads to human, not only human health, but also birds, animals, trees, plantations, samostanka paimori. Right? Apart from this, use of tobacco products. Tobacco industry is harmful, use of tobacco products. Tamane sabu bale tobacco side re lekha jauchi. It leads to cancer. Don't use it. It leads to cancer. Still, we are using that. ଆମେ ଏସରା ପଢୁଛେ ଆମେ ତାକୁ ୟୁଜ କରୁଛେ ସୋ ଯଦି ସେଇଟା ସେ ଲେଖୁଛି ତାର ଏତେ ପରିମାଣରେ ସୋ ସେଟା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଚୁଇଙ୍ଗ ଅଫ ଟୋବାକୋ kind of thing. So how much harmful for human health? So एटा जदि तार येटा air को एते polluted को human health को से केते polluted कर नथबो, right? And apart from this, using of cooking stoves like kerosene stoves, cow dung, gobara, right? Apart from this, wood, generally it is not there in the cities and metros, not used by the human beings. Ultimately, these things are more used by the village people. Those people are staying in the village. So, joman seiti rahuchandi gobara, kerosene stove, pakhare jaliba. So, it ultimately it's also polluted towards the environment. Released, emitted very many kind of harmful gases towards the environment. Right? So these are the students causes indoor as well as the outdoor. जेटा मो कहली सेटा ही indoor outdoor रे एटा divide करा है, separate करा है. हैला. So it effects कौन हबो? Obviously effects but बहुत बड़ा भयानक effects सब एटा भाबी बाराउ किछि नै. No effects it is basically हमें कहिबा effect बहु परिमाण रे बहुत जोटा कि it will affect like anything towards everyone. It relates to what will happen. Obviously, it affects human health, variety kind of disease, many kind of disease, छोटो to neki up to cancer, variety kind of disease create haba relates to human being. See, इतने प्रकार disease देइची पूरा देखिले पूरा आश्चर्य हो जिवो. Variety kind of disease book रे explain करछि, right? So that leads to human being. Also, animal suffered like anything by animals, plants, right? Birds, and it also variety kind of things happen due to the environment, and it leads to global warming. Global warming due to basically affect the greenhouse and also leads to global warming. So dear students, see in the present environment, air pollution is a very serious challenge. It is a very challenging task to clean air, right? And it is the problem. It is not only faced by India or Odisha. It is air pollution is a problem that faced by the entire globe, across the globe. पूरा विश्व आपैना लढुची, right? पूरा पृथ्वी आपैना फाइट करूची. तापै कोन ग्लोबल वार्मिंग रे हम गोटे चैप्टर पढिबा हैला कोन तापै to what are the steps taken by the globe to minimize such kind of pollution, right? जो global warming हमरे ना चलीची, right? So जदि हमको control न करिबा at the year of 2050, no, most of the country will destroy. Most of the country ध्वंस हो जिवो. And here, if we suppose we want to know what is the air quality level of Odisha. Ma'am, amo Odisha re air quality level kon achi? Whether it is clean, whether it is poisonous, whether it is somehow means it is what kind of means what air in our Odisha. So for that, to know the air quality level, air quality index, air quality index, AQI, this thing adapted by the environmentalist, and through this they can identify the quality level of the air. Now, if the category, see, as for the environmentalist, so category of, okay, they separated into a different category, different layer, बहुत सारे category divide करचंती, right? जो इतने आमो ओडिशा को category जाउची. So through this we can identify through AQI. Suppose we are there in a good position, category 1 and good position. So if the index value is 0 to 50, AQI value, right? If the 0 to 50, then our air quality is, it is a good level. If the category number 2 satisfactory level, ठीक अच्छी, satisfactory, then index value kete thiba darkar 51 to 100. It is satisfactory. In the category number 3, moderately polluted, then the index value is 101 to 200. Polluted is slides, right? ए जो गुड आमे कहले एटा गुड टा कोड रहबे कहले हिली एरिया रे जिते सब हिली एरिया सेठी गुड रहइबो कारण जनरली खाली सेठी नेचुरल एनवायरनमेंट रे भर्ती ओनली ग्रीनरी एनवायरनमेंट नेचुरल एनवायरनमेंट सेठी एते भी पोल्यूटेड नहीं तो जनरली से एरिया रे पूरा गुड रहे एक्सीलेंट रहे एयर क्वालिटी टा राइट हिमालयन रीजन्स को पळेबो जिते सब हमर अछि हिल स्टेशंस अछि सेठी के हमें पळेबा सो एयर क्वालिटी इट इज हाईली सैटिस्फैक्टरी हमें कहबा एक्सीलेंट गुड कैटेगरी रे जेबो से सब काहे कि ना सेठी पूरा फुल ऑफ नेचुरल एनवायरनमेंट किछि मोस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स हां होउची माने पीपल आर यूजिंग पर्सनल व्हीकल एंड ऑटोमोबाइल पब्लिक व्हीकल बट एते भी परिमाण रे नै सेटा को एडजस्ट कर दोची ट्रीज एंड प्लांटेशंस आर देयर राइट moderately polluted काहा को कहबा 101 to 200 index level AQI level जति थिबा poor quality of air in this particular area if 201 to 300 AQI level then it is the poor quality of air very poor quality of air if 301 to 400 AQI level is there then very poor quality of air severe poor very severe and very severe if the AQI level is 401 to 500 then the सेठी आ लोक बंचिबा दरकार नै सेठी पूरा कोन धरि कि बोलिबो कहलो जेंति हम एठी एग्जांपल जदी नबा दिल्ली रो एग्जांपल लास्ट ईयर हमें देखि जे दिल्ली रो सिचुएशंस कोन हेतिला एट द टाइम ऑफ दिवाली नो Delhi has been always in a news always for its poor air quality very poor air quality right and here index is very high degree in air pollutions very high degree rochi jota ki severe re rotu bode last tar stages ta थियो 401 to 500 रे से थियो काहे कि ना लास्ट ईयर हमें देखि जे 10 टा 11 टा बेले मध्ये लोकंकर पाखरे चले भी फेस टू फेस देखा जाउ नथला पूरा ये रे भर्ती हे कितला कोन कहिले फ्यूम एंड गैस रे dust smoke गैस फ्यूम रे भर्ती हेकिला दिल्ली टोटली जेते सब ये रे रिमूव हेई पाला नै टोटली जेते चेष्टा कले मते बहुत दिन चलला से इंडक जो हमर ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर लोक माने घरे हाथ रे धरि के बुलिबा स्टार्ट कले ब्रीदिंग रे एते प्रॉब्लम हैला राइट सो अल्टीमेटली डियर स्टूडेंट्स ओडिसा मध्य धीरे धीरे सही आड़ को गति करूची आमे नाही कि आमे पूरा गुड सुपर क्वालिटी रे अच्छे नो आमे मध्य देखिबो जदी एना जाय कि ओडिसा मध्य थिबो कोन मॉडरेटली पोल्यूटेड की पोर क्वालिटी रे आमे थिबा राइट सो हाउ टू रिड्यूस इट व्हाट आर द सॉल्यूशंस एटी मु एटी देखि छी सॉल्यूशंस कोन राइट solutions the most important solution already I told you if we will go to the hill stations right Himalaya regions and hill stations sethi the air quality is excellent why because full of natural environment is there full of plantation is there greenery environment is there so our responsibility kona planting of more and more tree ma pai gachati government kon कहले ma pai gachati प्रत्येक लोक गोटे गछ प्लांट करिबा प्रत्येक लोक गोटे गछ लगेबा ताहले कोन हबो गोटे लोक जदी गोटे गछ लगेला ताहले हमर एई जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड अछि सीएफसी अछि कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड अछि मीथेन अछि सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड अछि जहा अछि से सब को कंट्रोल करि परिबा and our generation and our next generation basically they will get clean and hygienic environment right and using of electric vehicle Modi government central government state government already amara using of electric vehicle already hame use kariba start kari sarlen au very soon एमती आसीबो खाली इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल थिबो आ कोनोसी प्रकार पेट्रोल डीजल व्हीकल हम यूज करिबा ना एंड जोटा टिके ओल्ड हो जाउची आई थिंक 10 to 15 इयर्स ओल्ड एमती गोटे कोन अछि 10 or 15 10 बोधे कोन हमर पर्सनल व्हीकल एंड 15 एमती गोटे कोन अछि बस कार पई जानि थिबे आपण माने सो सेटा कोन हबो
10 for commercial vehicles 15 years for personal vehicles
very nice very good 10 for commercial vehicle and 15 year for personal vehicle so eta pura directly क्वार चल जिवो स्क्रैप को चले जिवो आउ यूज से परिबन कांगे जिते ओल्ड हबो emitted more carbon dioxide towards the environment and more burning of fossil fuel right so ultimately dear students Delhi जितले polluted हैला odd even गाड़ी चलेला odd vehicle एतिक दिन चलिबो वीकली इवन जितने नंबर अच्छी एतिक दिन चलो अब अल्टरनेटिव ही नथिला चॉइस ही नथिला राइट and we have to use the solar systems solar system things no government अपन कितने प्रोजेक्ट आलानी से सोलर लाइट यूज कर so that आउरी हमें बहुत परिमाण रे हमें एनवायरनमेंट को प्रोटेक्ट करि परिबा instead of public transport we have to use the personal vehicle instead of personal vehicle we have to use the public transport जणे गोटे कार नहीं कि जणे गोटे ये वेहिकल न नहीं कि आमे जदि समस्त गोटे बस रे जिबा ताले बहु परिमाण रे हमर कोन हबो कोन बर्निंग ऑफ फॉसिल फ्यूल सेठी कंट्रोल हबो राइट सो अल्टीमेटली आमे एठी कोन करबा use of electric vehicle instead of use of personal vehicle we have to use the public transportation so that it reduce the burning of fossil fuel and somehow the emission of carbon dioxide towards the environment it must be reduced right apart from this we have to create awareness towards everyone it is a responsibility of the government and what media as well as the NGO and they're doing their job very well no बहुत बेस्ट हिसाब रे समान तंकर जॉब को करूचंती जोटा के क्रिएट अवेयरनेस टुवर्ड्स द होल सोसाइटी बट आमे किते दूर तक फॉलो करचे आमे किते दूर तक एक्सेप्ट करचे दैट्स डिपेंड ऑन द इंडिविजुअल पर्सन एंड द फैमिली मेंबर्स एंड द सोसाइटी राइट एंड प्लांटेशन ऑफ मोर एंड मोर ट्री जिते परिमाण रे आमे ट्राई करबा प्लांट करबा ट्री को राइट एंड बेसिंग ऑन दिस we can create a safe clean and hygienic environment जो थिरे की जम्मा कार्बन ओनली हमर कोन थिबो ना बहु परिमाण रे फुल ऑफ ऑक्सीजन रहबा हमर एनवायरनमेंट रे आ जनरेशन आ नेक्स्ट जनरेशन नेक्स्ट टू नेक्स्ट जनरेशन दे विल लिव देयर लाइफ वेरी स्मूथली राइट विदाउट एनी काइंड ऑफ डिजीज हार्मफुल थिंग्स नो जोटा की हमर काहा को हबो ना सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट डियर स्टूडेंट्स एडी गुड एग्जांपल कहबी खाली मु आपण मान जे गूगल रे भी सर्च कर परिबे सहारनपुर कह के गोटे विलेज अछि हैला जोटा कि वंस अपॉन अ टाइम से विलेज रो हिमालय टा बहुत नियरेस्ट रो देखा जाउतला पूरा क्रिस्टल क्लियर थिला सहारनपुर रो हिमालय टा धीरे 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 कोन हैला ना सेही पर्टिकुलर विलेज रो सहारनपुर रो हिमालय टा देखिबा बंद हे गला आ देखा गलानी काहे कि ना ड्यू टू हाई लेवल ऑफ एयर पोल्यूशंस बंद हो गला देखा गलानी सहारनपुर को बट ड्यूरिंग द कोविड-19 देखि परिबे आपण ता केस मध्ये अछि हां एटा हमर जो नेशनल जियोग्राफी रे सब कवर करे जनरली राइट सो ड्यूरिंग द कोविड-19 2 to 3 इयर्स तला हमर पूरा लॉकडाउन एंड शटडाउन नै गला पूरा एयर क्वालिटी ता हमर एते प्योर आसी गला हां जोटा कि हमें कहिबा वेरी एक्सीलेंट रे चली गला एयर क्वालिटी ता एंड ड्यू टू दिस जोटा लास्ट 50 years back थिला सिचुएशंस सहारनपुर टू माने हिमालय रीजन्स ता क्रिस्टल क्लियर देखा जाउतला सेही टाइम रे कोनला एग्जैक्ट सेही सिचुएशन फेस करले सहारनपुर विलेज पीपल्स नो सो अगेन सेही पर्टिकुलर येरु सहारनपुर टू हिमालय ता पूरा क्रिस्टल क्लियर आसिला सो दिस मच ऑफ एयर पोल्यूशन इट इज देयर इन द एनवायरनमेंट राइट So, dear students, this is all about air pollution. Now, I will discuss next. चल, बुझी गले ना पिला माने? Yes ना? Students.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Okay. So let's start. Water pollution. Now, what do you mean by water pollution? देखो तो ऊपर फास्ट जो अच्छी स्लाइड्स रा ताकू देखिबे हैला चारटा आपनकर चारटा वैरायटी रो आपनकर एटी स्लाइड्स रखा जाय पिक्चर को जॉइन करछि देखिबे हाउ मच इट इज पॉल्यूटेड सो रिवर्स lakes ponds are looks like a dustbin and it is difficult to use the water unable to it is very we can say we cannot use this water if we will use this water for it may be for general purpose or it may be for drinking water purpose so ultimately what will happen we can imagine it right kon skin disease habo how kon water related disease habo ame to analysis kari pariba. So the entire चार्टा को फैक्टर अच्छी हाँ चार्टा को आपण को देखैछि जोटा कि सबुआ को हमर डस्टबिन जहा हमर वाटर रो क्वालिटी एटी एग्जैक्टली से. So this is what the water pollution. Save water, save life. Save clean water. It is very much important towards everyone. Here the problem not only as a human being we will face the problem, but also the entire aquatic life, different kind of aquatic life will destroy. जिते अच्छी परिमाण aquatic life सब किछि ध्वंस destroy हे जिवो. Animal जोटा कि without water nobody can sustain. केही भी बंची परिबानी, neither a bird nor a animal nor a human being nor a aquatic life. सेमान तो तांको life सेथरे बंचीबे ही बंचीबे. Nor plant and trees. समस्तंको पाई दरकार पानी. Without water we cannot survive. Without food we can survive, but without water we cannot survive. Right? दिदिनी न खाई के बंची परिबा, दिदिनी न पानी पी के बंची परिबा, not possible. दिदिन पानी use general purpose रे पानी न use करी के बंची परिबा, not possible. Right? For that we need water, and how much it is polluted is just see here. So what do you mean by water pollution? एटा किए करूची? आको आमे ही करूची, आउ केही नुआ. We are the person. We are responsible for that. आको किए करिवो pollution? Only we are responsible for that. Water pollution. What do you mean by water pollution? Water pollution means it is the presence of solid, liquid, or gaseous contaminants in such concentration that may alter the quality of water. It means what? It is the contamination of water with chemicals and other harmful substances. जितने प्रकार chemical है, जितने प्रकार harmful substance है, it enter into the water bodies. पूरा entry कला directly कोतरे ना पानी रे. जोइतिपाई it may be directly or it may be indirectly. Ultimately, without purification, it will enter towards the river. It will enter to any kind of water bodies. Without adequate treatment, right? So what will happen? Ultimately the situation of water will like this. The same water situation एमिति हबो. Consequence obviously बहुत खतरनाक consequence हबो. कॉजेस आको एमिति करूची किया मैम? Who is responsible for this? Everyone is responsible for this. Right? So it causes causes of water pollution due to domestic waste. Amma mane, we are first and most important person. We are the person. We are responsible for water pollution. Domestic waste. Jette prakara waste ache domestic waste सीधा नौचे पानी रे फपाडचे. Right? Ultimately brain रे फपाडिबा, पानी रे फपाडिबा, ए जत्ते परिमाण रे आमे फपाडचे आम घर मानकर पूजा पूजी करचे, हां सेटा पानी रे फपाले ही हबो. ताको फास्ट रे नेकी पानी रे फपाड. बहु परिमाण रे अनहाइजेनिक थिंग्स आमे नेकी पानी रे फपाड के आसुचे, जोटा कि डोमेस्टिक वेस्ट ला फर्स्ट मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट फैक्टर. सीवेज सिस्टम इन दी कोठी ना स्पेसिफिकली इन टाउन metro cities without a treatment of sewage. आज का डेट रे सिस्टम नहीं, सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट है कि ही जीव रिवर को जहाँ जो फ्लैट जो घर से तर सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट नथिबो, देन सी अगेन एना बनेइबो सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट पाइन. So through sewage system treatment system only that factors it enter to the river. So एना change है गलाने system. Government आपरे बहुत सारा strict step नहीं सालान. Also solid waste, also industrial waste, right? Industrial waste रे कौन जितने प्रकार oil हैला, grease हैला, जितने प्रकार unnecessary things हैला से सबो, right? Also due to the acid rain एटा बहुत कम परिमाण रुहे. अब जल्दी हैला सेटा तो excess level destruction करिबो, right? Also oil industry, also different kind of aquatic plants, also municipal dust, municipal waste, then drainage system in the urban area, right? Also marine pollution, also agriculture activity. Eta ko jama bhulibani. Agriculture activity, farmers are using variety kind of pesticides and harmful chemicals. It leads to air pollution, water pollution, as well as the soil pollution. But chemical kemiti air ko pollute kala. Farmer माने जदि chemical pesticides use कले ताहले से air को काहे pollute करी से soil को pollute करिवो ना water को काहे pollute करिवो of course करिवो केमिति ना आपण जेते farmer सेते chemical pesticide use करके आसिला जेते बेले खराटा पडिला से तो टाणीबो ना जदि water को टाणुची ताहले से pesticides और chemical को टाणीबोनी कि किंतु से कोन करि परिबो आमे सेटा पढिबा ग्रीन हाउस इफेक्ट रे ग्लोबल वार्मिंग रे राइट से कौन करि परिबो सी सेही परिमाण रे ताकू नै परिबो ट्राई करि परिबो सो अल्टीमेटली कोन हबो गोटे लेयर आसीबो एनवायरनमेंट रे जोथि पाइन ग्लोबल वार्मिंग होछ मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंट फैक्टर रिलेटेड टू दिस ओनली दैट्स व्हाई आज का डेट रे गवर्नमेंट कोन कहूची यूज ऑर्गेनिक थिंग्स इंस्टेड ऑफ केमिकल एंड पेस्टिसाइड्स यूज ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट राइट related to farming activity. And ultimately water how water leads to polluter related to amara kon kahile agriculture na pani re noi re ye re as mane kono jami re pakai ki asile pesticide or chemical setele barsa habo se pani ta kwer jibo ultimately to river ko jibo na setele se river ko jibo to setele kon habo entire taro chemicals pesticides asila kotiki na water ko polluted kala right and soil to polluted hella tako bhabi barano directly polluted kala so ultimately agriculture also a most important factor who is playing a major role to kaun pai na to create variety kind of pollution air pollution water pollution as well as the soil pollution right so jodi e sabu polluted hella ताहले हमर कोन हबो इफेक्ट्स कोन हबो पिला माने एया इफेक्ट्स हबो जोथि पई वाटर the most important factor related to water pollution and the highly miserable life related to aquatic life जोटा कि the killing and death of aquatic life गोटे भी aquatic life survive करि परिबे नाही and ultimately drastically the problem faced by human being animals birds plants already mu kahi dechi right and it will destroy the entire ecosystem pura entire ecosystem ko aku destroy kari and also it will leads to variety kind of skin disease and waterborne disease related to human being amako variety kind of skin disease in general use purpose and jetaka piba setela kon habo waterborne disease bujhile so ultimately save water and clean water for a healthy living is very much important in this present day environment in this 21st century water ko save kariba au clean water maintain kariba seta hochi ame प्रत्येक लोकर रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जेमति कि हमें वाटर को तो वेस्ट टोटली करि पानी एट द टाइम ऑफ कोन कहिबा ना एट द टाइम ऑफ डोमेस्टिक पर्पस एते हमें यूज करू छे वाटर एट द टाइम ऑफ कुकिंग एट द टाइम ऑफ वॉशिंग बाथिंग ना so we have to save water and we have to clean water we have to aware ourselves and we have to aware towards the society also. So in the present day environment, government taking various kind of steps to treatment the sewage and to control the industries. Industry ko control karuchi, sewage ko treatment karuchi, right? And also adapting variety kind of things related to जेमती कि हमें कहिबा कोन कहिले ना specifically related to agriculture also, taking various steps towards the agriculture, industrial activity, agriculture activity, as well as the sewage and domestic towards the domestic purpose, government taking variety kind of steps to manage to maintain the quality waters, right? And also creating awareing people through electronics media as well as the print media. So it is our responsibility, right? And dear students, these 4R you have to remember always. For any kind of pollutions, these 4R, it leads to water pollution. These 4R, air pollution, you have to remember at the time of water, air, soil, सबुथिरे एटा हमें यूज करिबा. एटा खाली वाटर पाई नुह, एटा एयर पाई मध्य. कौन 4R concept? Refuse, reduce, reuse and recycle. Refuse, हमें environment को polluted करिबो नहीं. Neither air nor water nor soil हमें refuse कलु. जेते परिमाण रे हमें नष्ट करूचे ताको हमें reduce करिबा. गवर्नमेंट के कितने बैन कला, don't use polythene. जोटा कि एनवायरनमेंट को हाईली पोल्यूटेड करछे. हमें कोन करछे, हमें समस्त पॉलिथिन हमें जतले जाउचे शॉपिंग पाइन स्पेसिफिकली वेजिटेबल शॉपिंग रे वेजिटेबल ता हमें नबा फ्रूट्स एंड वेजिटेबल जतले हमें कहूचे वेजिटेबल आनुचे तो पाखरे पॉलिथिन नाही तो थाउ मु ता आउ जा पाखरे अछि ता पाखरु जाई के आनबे. बट हमें सेठी जदी गोटे ये यूज करबा बैग यूज करबा इंस्टेड ऑफ पॉलिथिन ताहाले जदी हमें अवेयर हे जिबा ताहाले पूरा सोसाइटी सुधरे जिवो, राइट? सब रियूज करिबा एंड रिसाइकल करिबा. These 4 factor जोटा आम द्वारा ही पड़छि आमे करिबा, जोटा गवर्नमेंट द्वारा ही पड़छि सेटा गवर्नमेंट करिबा. बट स्टार्ट तो आम टू स्टार्ट हबो ना. So these 4 factor it maintain the eco friendly environments, जोटा कि हमर environment को पूरा clean, green and eco friendly environment can be maintained, right? Apart from this, एटा को पूरा माने रखिबो. These are the solutions for to maintain what? The clean air and clean water. बुझिलो कि पिला माने? Yes ना? गच्छ काटिबेनी हैला, उड जिंस यूज करिबेनी. जेते सब अछि आपनकर फैक्टर आको पूरा मानिबे, so that we can maintain a healthy environment and atmosphere. Clear students? बुझि गलो कि रे? किछि डाउट पिला माने? छुरुजो ना सुनो ना रे?
नो डाउट मैडम, बुझुछु मैडम.
हाँ बुझिले तो. हाँ जदि किछि ऐड करियो चाहिबे ताले आपण माने एक्स्ट्रा चाहू छन जदि किछि भीतर ऐड करियो को हैला करि परिबे, किछि प्रॉब्लम नै हैला. मु ओवरऑल आपण माने को कवर करछि. इफ यू ऐड एनीथिंग एक्स्ट्रा देन यू कैन ऐड इट हैला. तापर चलंतु आ गोटे लास्ट हमें पढ़ देबा सॉइल पोल्यूशन. सॉइल और लैंड पोल्यूशन. कोन सॉइल लैंड पोल्यूशन देखो, ये गोटे प्रकार पोल्यूशन. सॉइल को केमती पोल्यूटेड करछे एक्चुअली केमती होची. 2 दिन गोटे रु 2 दिन खाली भुवनेश्वर रे म्युनिसिपालिटी खाली गार्बेज उठेबा बंद कर दो. जदि भुवनेश्वर एंटायर भुवनेश्वर जदि एमिति न होला तापरे कहिबे जे ना मैम आपण ठीक को नथिले. गोटे दिन रु 2 दिन पूरा एंटायर भुवनेश्वर एमिति हिजबो गार्बेज लैंड पोल्यूशन. एटी सॉरी वाटर पोल्यूशन गोटे एग्जांपल कहूची भूली जाइतिली. हमरो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट कोन कला, दैट इज अ बेसिकली वन प्रोजेक्ट अडॉप्टेड बाय सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. कोन वाटर पोल्यूशन कहूची. जेमति सहारनपुर रे एयर पोल्यूशन आपण को कहली, वाटर पोल्यूशन का सुन. सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट गोटे प्रोजेक्ट अडॉप्ट कला कोन ना नमामि गंगा. नमामि गंगा मींस द ऑब्जेक्टिव इज टू क्लीन गंगा. गंगा को पूरा क्लीन करबा. The project is Namami Ganga. So it is government adopted variety kind of top to top technology, best to best technology, but unable to clean Ganga. Ganga clean है पारिले ना. जेते टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्ट करा गला, जेते आपण जदि हरिद्वार जिबे सेठी टिके गंगा क्लीन अछंती कारण सेठु आसुची डायरेक्ट हमर कोन हिमालय रीजन रु सेठी आसुची. तो सेठी आपण क्लीन गंगाटा पाइबे. ତା ପର ତଳକୁ ତଳକୁ ଯେତେ ଖସିବେ ସେ କୋଲକାତା ଆସିଲା ବେଳୁ ସିଏ ଆଉ ଗଙ୍ଗା ନୁହନ୍ତି, ସିଏ ହେଲା ଆମର ଯୋଉ ରିଭର, ଆମ ରିଭର ଟୁ ଆହୁରି ସିଏ କଣ କହିଲେ ପଲ୍ୟୁଟେଡ ହେଲା। ତ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ ତାର ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ନେଇକି ଆସିଲା, ସବୁ ଟେକ୍ନୋଲୋଜି ତାର ୟୁଜ ପାୱାର ବୁଦ୍ଧି ଜ୍ଞାନ ସବୁ ୟୁଜ ହେଇଗଲା, ବଟ ଗଙ୍ଗା କ୍ଲିନ ହେଇପାରିଲେ ନାହିଁ। Again, at the time of COVID-19, 2 to 3 years of COVID ହେଲା, shutdown, lockdown वगैरह वगैरह, गंगा जो टेक्नोलॉजी काम कर नथिला, जो पावर ये कौन कहले नॉलेज एजुकेशन सब फेल मारथिला, गंगा मन को मन पूरा क्रिस्टल क्लियर हेकी देखा गले। तो मो कहवा कथा है मैम ताने आपण कौन कहते कि कोविड कौन सबुदिन हम, कोविड सबुदिन हम, तो एयर को क्लीन रखा पूरा सब वाटर प्यूरिफाई हम ताने आपण ना ना माने है जदि आमे सेई टाइप रो जदि निजको मेंटेन करबा सब एंटायर होल वर्ल्ड वर्क होल कंट्री जदि से टाइप रो मेंटेन करिवे ताहा हेले हमर एनवायरनमेंट आउ सेई रेट रे पॉल्यूटेड हबो ना, सेटा मो माने थि हैला। तो चलतु ये है लैंड पोल्यूशन। लैंड पोल्यूशन कौन पिला माने? लैंड पोल्यूशन is the change of physical, chemical and biological condition of the soil through human activity. आउ लैंड को किए पोल्यूटेड करिवो? मनुष्य छडा कि पोल्यूटेड करि परिवो लैंड को, राइट? सो लैंड पोल्यूशन माने हैला any kind of physical कौन चेंज हबो ना soil quality, the change of soil quality due to kind of the different kind of things it will be there in a soil, right? And through human activity only मनुष्य हला इति पई बहुत परिमाण रे थाए, आ केही नो, it may be farmer doing farming activity at the time of agriculture जो करूचंदी already I told you, using kind of things, very harmful things, toxic things, and it leads to both three type of pollution, air, soil and water pollution. And we are the most important person जो थी पाई आमे सब डंप करूचे। कौन डंप करचे देखन ए केतेटा डंप अछि, गार्बेज डंपिंग, प्लास्टिक वेस्ट, जेते डोमेस्टिक वेस्ट, टॉक्सिक वेस्ट, ऑयल, जेते परिमाण रो इंडस्ट्रियल वेस्ट. So ultimately it is every individual is responsible for this land pollution. जो थ्रे की थिंग्स आज का डेट रे गवर्नमेंट कहिची दुईटा, एटा हला वेट थिंग्स पई, एटा हला हमर जनरल एटा विलेज रे होनी, कारण विलेज लोक माने एंटी डंप करंती नि नेकी, राइट? ए सबु हला शहर मानकर काम, जोटा कि आज का डेट रे गवर्नमेंट कहिची दिस इज फॉर वेट थिंग, दिस इज फॉर ड्राई थिंग, आपण माने दया करी एथिरे आनी के आमे ना हमर देखि एई पाखरे हम घर पाखरे गोटे अछि पूरा पहाड़ हेतिबो अलियार सबु नेकी सेडी पपारथियो, कहीं से जो ग्रीन ये देला ब्लू देला ता लाभ किछि नाही, सेमति से ग्रीन ब्लू बाहर थुआ आइथिबो लोक सेठी नै कि पपारथिबो, अवेयरनेस नाही लोक मानकर, राइट? सो कॉजेस कौन कहछि पिला माने लैंड पोल्यूशन due to construction activity, due to agriculture, due to domestic waste, garbage, industrial waste, medical, plastic, mining activity, various kind of activities are there. Due to this only the land pollution is there, severe land pollution. जो थे मैं land pollution है हमर कोन क्षति, हमर तो किछि प्रॉब्लम नै, तो माटी रो खराब पला हमर कोन, हमर असुविधा हबनी, हमर ही असुविधा बा, कार असुविधा हबो, जो थे कि वैरायटी काइंड ऑफ डिजीज विल क्रिएट इन दैट पर्टिकुलर एरिया. से जो हमर कोन जे से सैनिक स्कूल पाखरे नै कि डंपिंग ऐड करिछि गवर्नमेंट हैला, से तो गाडा कोना ना कोठी से माने मना कर देले डंपिंग ऐड करछि, तार स्मेल रसूलगढ़ पर्यंत से केबे ताको रीयूज रिसाइकल करिवो गवर्नमेंट, बट अल्टीमेटली तार स्मेल से जते पवन होछि तार स्मेल आसे रसूलगढ़ पर्यंत, आउरी कुआडे कुआडे जाउथबो छाडंतो. तो सो अल्टीमेटली कोन कहिले एटा खाली सॉइल को नष्ट करूनी, सॉइल रे तर जो फर्टिलिटी लेवल को नष्ट करूनी, it is also create variety kind of disease towards the environment. Ultimately it polluted air, ultimately it create variety kind of disease towards the environment जोटा कि हमर breathing system रे again आमे problem face करिबा. So here so effects कोन हबो causes तो दिया है after effect कोन हबो पिला माने effect ए सब हबो reduce soil fertility quality of soil. So ultimately the farmer will face difficult at the time of farming. कौन से जिनस हबनी neither agriculture neither ठीक से crops हबो neither vegetable nor fruits किछि हबनी. Right? So reduce crops, vegetables, fruits, everything. तो हमें खाइबा कोन हमको किछि मिलिबोनी. Release harmful gas, already I told you. It polluted the environment. It leads to air pollution. It leads to greenhouse effect. It leads to global warming. Right? Release dangerous chemicals. It affects the breathing system of the individuals. Right? Apart from this, it affects the entire animal, plants, and human life. Samaste एठी हमें problem face करिबा. So again हमें एठी कोन adopt करिबा पिला माने सेई चारिटा R factor को. Solution is 4R. Refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle. Say no use to polythene. आमे polythene use करिबा नै. गोटे step जदि हम आगु को जिबा, one step जदि हम आगु को जिबा, then definitely आउरी बहुत step हम मन को मन तारा हमर control लई जिबो. So through this we can control land pollution. And जदि हम एठी कहिबा पिला माने sound pollution कोन sound pollution रो मुझे स्लाइड करनी कि industrial pollution खाली कहि देबे एठी सुनिबे पिला माने हला noise और sound pollution खाली आर माने एटा कोन जानो तो एटा हमरो सिलेबस रे नाही. Noise pollution, light pollution नाही हम सिलेबस रे अछि water, air आउ land ता को मन रखिबे सेठी सेटा मेजर पार्ट ता एतिकी खाली आउ industrial pollution ता ए चारटा को कवर करिबे. Noise means what? Noise means any kind of unpleasant, unwanted sound that causes discomfort towards the individuals. जो sound ता जोटा कि हमर the intensity level of sound, if more than that जेति कि हमर hearing capacity अछि तारु जदि अधिक होला ताले हमें कोन करिबा discomfort feel kariba obviously, right? Unpleasant sound, unwanted sound. I don't need this much of sound, and I feel discomfort. Yeah. So here, so any kind of basically indoor and outdoor activities are there. So through these, different kind of sounds are emitted. And due to these, if more than that will be there, ultimately it will affect the human health. Pets, animals, everything, birds, crackers, we use at the time of Diwali, right? What unpleasant environment create hoji. It leads to air pollutions. And say time re dekhibe, birds manankar abostha kon hoji, animal manankar specifically. Jete amar pet dogs achanti, se manankar situation chinta karantu. Birds manko situation चिंता करंतु किते से माने सफर होचनी गवर्नमेंट अपन किते अवेयर करूची. Don't use crackers use करंतुनी जोथि पई ता साउंड एते अनप्लेजेंट साउंड एते अनप्लेजेंट नॉइज क्रिएट करूची एनवायरनमेंट को जोथि पई कहि कि समस्त हमें सफर होचे किंतु स्टिल हमें सुनने हमें यूज करूची जोटा कि डेली रो सिचुएशंस ताहा हितला लास्ट ईयर राइट. से गोटे न्यूज़ से देखौतला गोटे बरजात्री जाउतला प्रोसेशन रे एते जोर से डीजे साउंड हैला से मो एटा मो ये रे कहूनी आपण माने भी न्यूज़ से देखिथिले एटा देखिथिबे सब आगो हैला आ किछि दिन पूर्वरु से एते डीजे साउंड हैला जोटा कि से जे पुओ थिला तार बापा हार्ट अटैक खई डेथ हे गेला फादर रो गोटे माने डीजे गोटे साइड रे गला गोटे ये थिला पोल्ट्री फार्म रो मोस्ट ऑफ दी माने ये कोन कहले आपनकर पोल्ट्री जो कुकुडा सब आक मरि गेले. अरे मरि गेला कोन गसी जाईगिरी तार केस कला से जो पोल्ट्री मालिक कि भाई मोर एमती मरि गेला जो टेस्ट कला जना पला जे से साउंड रे मरछन कारण से साउंड रे ही सब मरि गेले चट के. तो एटा हला अनप्लेजेंट साउंड आम घर जिते ग्राइंडर चलथिबो कि गोटे साउंड रे हमर होम थिएटर चलथिबो हमको भल लागेनी हमर रेंज रे दरकार साउंड ता सो दिस इज व्हाट द साउंड नॉइज पॉल्यूशन मन रखिबे राइट आर सब अच्छी आपनकर एजुकेशनल एरिया रे केते डेसिमल रे रहिबा दरकार आपनक हॉस्पिटल एरिया ए सब एरिया रे तार सब अच्छी जोटा कि हमें समस्त आपको मानिबा निहांती दरकार हैला इंडस्ट्रियल पॉल्यूशन कोन पिला माने लाइट मध्य सेया लाइट कोन हमर जति के कैपेसिटी हमें ये करबा तार अधिक होला माने हमर जो अनवांटेड थिंग्स will be there in the particular area so that is also lead to problem ह्यूमन हेल्थ को प्रॉब्लम होबो सब को प्रॉब्लम होबो सेति में गवर्नमेंट कोन कोची जो दुर्गा पूजा ये टाइम रे कोन कोची न एति की परिमाण रो साउंड यूज करबो एति की परिमाण रो लाइट यूज करबो नॉट मोर देन दैट ना इंडस्ट्रियल पोल्यूशन माने कोन इंडस्ट्रियल पोल्यूशन बेसिकली इफ वी कैन से इंडस्ट्रियल पोल्यूशन it leads to variety kind of pollution industry created variety kind of pollution industrial pollution means it is the pollution caused by the industry and their activities industrial activity industrial pollution kon karchi na tar jo activity industrial activities are there through these industrial pollutions are there and it normally generally it releases harmful gases chemicals harmful kind of things towards the environment in forms of liquid, in form of solid, in form of gases. So liquid form रहे हो, solid form रहे हो, कि gaseous form रहे हो. Ultimately, it polluted air, water as well as the soil. Industry हला गोटे मुख्य कारण, मुख्य भूमिका प्ले करे. जेमती एग्रीकल्चर सब आगु को नष्ट करूची, air, water आउ soil को, सेमती इंडस्ट्री हला गोटे मुख्य भूमिका माने great role play करे. से कौन करे? It polluted air, it polluted water, as well as it polluted soil. Due to the variety kind of industrial activity, right? Release variety kind of harmful toxic gases, harmful toxics, no? Liquid or gases or fumes or any kind of things towards the environment. Due to this, the entire environment pollution is there. And it affects everything. Water and water, air and soil or land pollutions due to the mining activity, mining industries, chemical industries, plastic industries, any kind of industries, no, release unwanted, unnecessary things towards the environment and ultimately polluted the river, polluted the lake, polluted the air, polluted the entire environment. Right? So industrial pollution has also severe consequence on the human health, environment, and the ecosystem, entire environment and the ecosystem. Human health pollution कौन कोची पिला माने सबू को नष्ट करूची. आ pollution create किया करूची कोटे मुख्य भूमिका प्ले करूची के industrial activity जितने प्रकार industry अछंती. Ultimately, every industry is operating as per the norm of the government. Government ro norm ne operate करचंती. Without government ro license, government norm ne operate करचंती की. किंतु still created variety, emitted variety kind of means harmful things towards the environment. Ultimately, through these variety kind of pollutions is there. जति हम एक गोटे example नबा ये किए कहले वेदांत लांजीगढ़ रो जो प्रोजेक्ट अछि आपण बहुत टाइम रे टीवी रे देखुथिबे हां तार जो पाउस रे से एंटायर विलेज एंटायर जते गोटे नई से रिवर गोटे जाईची एंटायर सब विलेज पूरा पूरा पाउस रे पूरा भर्ती ही जाउचंती ना से रिवर पीबा लायक पानी पीबा लायक होची ना जनरल पर्पस रे यूज करबा लायक होची ना से एंटायर विलेज माने ना फार्मिंग एक्टिविटी करचंती ना एग्रीकल्चर होची नथिंग इज देयर. That's why government taking variety kind of step to close the Lanjigarh project of Vedant. सब टाइम रे टीवी रे देखिबो तार जत्ते प्रकार मींस hazardous problems are there, right? Government taking variety kind of step. Vedanta भी अपने बहुत चेष्टा करू छिटा मेंटेन करिया पई but is unable to do. So this is what the industrial activity, industrial disasters, पिला माने industrial pollutions, right? Industrial pollution माने ହେଲା ए सब आगु भी लिखि दब. जेतले pollution question आसीबो एटा गोटे itself it is a long question. What is pollution? What are the different types of pollutions? So different types of pollutions means आपण माने छोटा को pollution को cover करिवे जदि आपण को नेम नहीं कि आसिला question what is pollution and briefly explain water and air pollutions. Briefly explain industrial and air pollution, industrial pollutions and air pollutions. Then you have to explain only the industrial pollution and air pollution. Right? If the name will mentions there. If the question will come, what is pollutions and briefly explains the different types of pollutions, then you have to explain what do you mean by water pollution, what do you mean by air pollution, what do you mean by soil pollution, noise pollutions, as well as the what? Industrial pollutions. And what are the causes, effects, and the solutions. Buchile ki pilla mane, is it clear to you or any doubt? Students?
Clear, madam. Clear,
No,
madam.
पूरा क्लियर ना वेरी गुड
Madam.
हैला तो हमरो सुनंतु नेचुरल डिजास्टर हमें कल लास्ट क्लास रे फिनिश कर देथिले कंप्लीट कर देथिले ए सब आसला हमें स्टार्ट कर जाजी मैन मेड डिजास्टर रे मो पोल्यूशन पार्ट को आज कंप्लीट कर देली काली बाकी रेस जहां सब अछि हमरो छोटे छोटे सब केस अनुसार हमें पढिबा जेमति कि बायोलॉजिकल आपणकर पोल्यूशन बायोलॉजिकल डिजास्टर केमिकल डिजास्टर आ गोटे कोन अछि इंडस्ट्रियल डिजास्टर एमति सब कोन अछि सिलेबस रे हैला सो सेई डिजास्टर रे गोटे केस नै कि पढि पढि के जिबा कोठी कोन हेची कोन सिचुएशंस तार ताको कंप्लीट करिबा ताको भलसे मन रखिबे संसार एक्सप्लेन करिवे देन अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस आउ कोन अछि हमर मैन मेड डिजास्टर रे as per our syllabus we will discuss tomorrow ठीक है पिलामन ठीक अछि
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
ओके ओके हैला मु जहां पढौची if anything you want to add in that particular chapter you can add it अपन ऐड करि परिबे एक्स्ट्रा जहां चाहिए अपन ऐड करि परिबे थैंक यू बाय बाय गुड नाइट सी यू टुमारो
Good night.
Bye, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.